Hey, I get it. Buying a cold plunge can be pretty expensive. Take it from me. I've reviewed multiple cold plunges on the market today, and so many of them are amazing, but they can be a little bit pricey. I want to help those of you out there who are looking to get cold and feel better, but do it on a budget. So this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you're going to need if you want to try to build the perfect DIY cold plunge. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name's David Moss Jr., and I've reviewed countless cold plunges, and I've helped thousands of people around the globe build DIY cold plunges. I've made a ton of mistakes, so I wanted to make the perfect video so that you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did. So first, let's talk about what is it that you're going to actually need to make a DIY cold plunge. Building a cold plunge is actually quite easy. Matter of fact, the only thing you're going to need probably right now, unless you live in Florida, is just a tub. You can go to Tractor Supply, buy yourself a galvanized horse trough or a Rubbermaid tub. I've seen people use trash cans or even just use their own bathtubs. But in theory, all you need is a tub, something to hold water that will fit your body into. For me, I absolutely love the ice barrel. That's why you'll see a lot of my content involves the ice barrels, because the new ice barrels are insulated, which means they keep my water at the desired temperature a lot longer than a galvanized trough or a Rubbermaid tub might. They also have an insulated lid, so it keeps the kids and the debris out of my plunge, which helps keep my water nice and clean. Now they have a lot of different options and a new one that just launched. If you'd like to check out Ice Barrel, I'll have links down in the description below. But for the sake of this video, you can use any type of tub that you want. And then after you pick out your tub, there's really only a few other components that you need to get cold. The most expensive component that you're gonna want is gonna be a chiller. And no, I'm not affiliated with Active Aqua. I've just used Active Aqua for over a year outside in the elements in Florida, uncovered, and I've had zero issues with them. And I've used quite a few different ones to test them out. Now the question with chillers is like, what size do you actually need? So I want to take an entire section of this video to explain chiller sizes and which one might be best for you. Let's talk chillers. There's a lot of different chillers out there. There's all-in-one chillers. There's new chillers coming out from brands like Ice Barrel that are literally designed and built specifically for humans to get in and chill their water, so they're extremely safe. But then if you explore the world of Amazon, you're gonna find a lot of different chiller companies, and there's more coming. So how do you decide which one is best for you? Well, the first thing that I always do when I purchase anything from Amazon or a third or fourth party is, one, I look at the reviews, but two, I go straight to YouTube and I try to find videos of people actually using them for long periods of time. You may have seen one of my previous videos where I go over chillers and I talk about Active Aqua and compare it to Eco Plus, because I truly believe of all the different chillers I've used, those are the two that are worth mentioning. Now, in my experience, I've done a lot with Active Aqua and I've really abused the crap out of these things, and they've stood the test of time for me. But the one you see here is a 1 horsepower chiller. Now, a 1 horsepower chiller is overkill. Unless you live in sunny Florida and you're using a galvanized trough without a lid and you want your water cold, that's about the only time a 1 horsepower chiller is gonna be necessary. You see, in the middle of summer, I upgraded on my Ice Barrel 400 that doesn't have insulation to the 1 horsepower chiller, and it worked like a charm. My water was spot on every day, no matter how hot or sunny it was. But previous to that, I had the 1/2 horsepower Active Aqua chiller, and it did a great job. It had about a 5-degree fluctuation of the temperature on the hottest days, and that's really the main reason that I upgraded to the 1 horsepower. But now with new barrels coming out fully insulated, I'm confident that the 1/4 horsepower Active Aqua chiller will do the job for us. Matter of fact, I've been experimenting with the 1/4 horsepower Active Aqua chiller, and it's been working great. Now, I live here in sunny Florida. It's the end of January and it's currently 80 degrees outside. But for some of you who live in snowy climates, you might not need a chiller right now, which means it's an incredibly good time for you to purchase one for the summer if it's something you feel you're gonna need. Because I've noticed right now the price of these chillers on Amazon are substantially lower than they were during the summer. And you can get them in typically a couple days. If you decide you wanna get any of the chillers or components that I talk about, I'll have links down in the description below. It'll take you right to my Amazon shop. I've put together kits to make it super easy for anybody who wants to build a DIY cold plunge. But I feel like I didn't do a great job explaining the difference between the size chiller, so let's take a second and go through that. There's 3 different size Active Aqua chillers that I have used and also highly recommend because I've had no issues with them since the day I've plugged them in. And that is the 1 horsepower Active Aqua chiller, the 1/2 horsepower, and then the 1/4 horsepower. But I'm a big spec guy, so I want to talk about the difference between all 3 so you can decide which size is really best for you. First, let's talk about the full horsepower chiller. Who is this for? So the full horsepower chiller is what you're gonna want if you have a galvanized trough baking in the sun at all times, or in a hot garage or something like that, where you don't have a lot of insulation and you are gonna have a lot of elements fighting that water temperature. But it comes with a cost. The 1 horsepower active aqua chiller only uses 1-inch tubing and 1-inch components. So that's why if you look at the DIY kits I have, all of the components are 1 inch. For the half horsepower or the quarter horsepower, you can get away with 3/4 inches, and I would not go any lower than 3/4 inches. I've experimented with all the different tube sizes, and when you go lower than a 3/4 inch, I realized that the flow rate was substantially less, and the chiller had a lot of trouble keeping my water cold. Some more stats on the 1 horsepower is this will pull 1100 watts, which is the amount of power this thing is going to be taking from your house as it is running. Now, there is a really cool feature on the active aqua chillers, as well as a lot of the chillers, and that's when the water reaches your desired set temperature, the chilling components will actually stop. It'll still look like it's on, but it's not actually pulling those watts. The price currently of the 1 horsepower is over $1,500 on Amazon, and that is discounted. So yes, it's fair to say the chillers are one of the most expensive components to the entire cold plunge operation. Another cool idea for the 1 horsepower is if you have a larger tub, like a family size tub that you're trying to chill, these can chill tubs up to 250 gallons, but they're the biggest of the 3 and they weigh 75 pounds dry. So that's the 1 horsepower. If that's not something that you need, let's talk about the next in line, and that's the half horsepower active aqua chiller. Same features, it can get your water down to 39 degrees, set it at that temperature and forget it, it'll do the rest for you. But the half horsepower is a great happy medium, and here's why. It only pulls 510 watts running, which is less than half of the full horsepower, go figure. It's slightly smaller in size and only weighs 56 pounds. At the time of recording this, it's only $1,000 on Amazon, so that's a great deal for a half horsepower chiller. And they're rated for up to 170 gallon reservoirs. So if you have an ice barrel, which holds around 100 gallons, it's gonna be overkill for you. But if you have hot climates that it's gonna be fighting, it might be perfect for you too. And the half horsepower is what I had on my ice barrel outside in Florida for the first half of my cold plunging career. And the thing was a beast. But now let's jump down to the quarter horsepower. And if you've watched my channel for any amount of time, you know there was a time where I was like, don't get a quarter horsepower, because I was struggling keeping my water at the perfectly set temperature with the half horsepower. So I didn't want anybody to run into the same issues that I was having ×2 going with a smaller chiller. So if you have a galvanized trough or a Rubbermaid tub or a trash can, the quarter horsepower chiller might be a waste of money for you. Some will disagree, and that's totally fine. If you disagree with anything I'm saying, please let me know in the comments below. I love to educate myself. I love to learn. I love to experiment, and I love to get feedback from you. So if there's anything I'm saying that you disagree with or you agree with, let me know in the comments below. But one of the things about the quarter horsepower I'm realizing is if you do get an insulated tub like the Ice Barrel 300 or the new Ice Barrel 500, or if you use a Grizzly tub or anything that's insulated well, the quarter horsepower chiller is more than enough. It might take a little longer to get your water cold, but once it's there, it's not gonna have to work that hard. And the quarter horsepower chiller only pulls 460 watts when it's fully running. It's the smallest of the 3, so it doesn't take up a large footprint. And currently on Amazon, it's only $570. So you got $570 for the quarter horsepower, $1,000 for the half, and then $1,500 plus for the full. Just depends on your budget, depends on what you're looking for, but sounds like there's a lot of good options. And then it's the lightest of them all, weighing in at 49 pounds. And even though it's super small, it's rated for up to 92 gallons. So you can get away with that with a 100-gallon ice barrel. And that, my friends, is my chiller recommendation. I hope I didn't lose you. If you're somebody who doesn't care about chillers, stick around, because now we're gonna talk about the rest of the components that you're gonna need. And with these, there's far less variables we have to worry about. Now, this next part, I get a lot of questions about, and it's because there's so many DIY cold plunge people on YouTube that show these massive 20, 50 micron filters and throwing ozone in there and all that stuff. Can I be totally transparent with you? I have the Plunge. It's amazing. It's the white tub, the iconic Plunge. It has ozone, it has a 20 micron filter, and the water is crystal clear at all times. It really is great. And you can spend more money. If you want to, if you're watching this video and you're like, man, I don't want to fool with all this stuff, go buy a Plunge. They're amazing. Go buy a mod to buy whatever you want. Spend as much money as you want. I'm trying to show you how you can save a little bit of money and what has worked for me. So I've played around with all these additional filters. I've played around with ozone. I actually have videos where I show you how I take just an ozone machine generator that you can just go buy and use in your room, in your car, in your garage, or whatever, and have that attachment for water, and it works just as well on my cold plunges, even my DIYs. But this is my filter. This is just a 100 mesh inline strainer. What I love about this is it's super duper simple. See, what you don't realize is that the filters you have to replace on a lot of these cold plunges, the 20 micron, 50 micron filters, they're great, but you're not drinking the water. If you've ever jumped into a lake you're cool jumping into this too with hose water. Listen, you do you. I'm just telling you, I have used the strainer since day one because I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a filter, and I was curious if this thing would work. And the thing works great. You know what it does? It keeps the debris out of my pump from damaging my pump. It keeps the debris from going back into my cold plunge. Now all I have to do, and every once in a while I'll do it, is take a little bit of Ice Barrel's water stabilizer. It's the best thing you can use on the market today. So their water stabilizer does an incredible job keeping my water nice and clear. Every once in a while, I'll throw some hydrogen peroxide in there. Does a great job. And then every once in a while, if I don't feel like draining my plunge, if the water's getting really murky and nasty, I will take my ozone generator and I'll throw it in there as well. But that's just every once in a while. All the time when my thing is running, this strainer is doing a beautiful job for me. Now at this point, I do want to show off one small thing. So I leave my DIY setup outside at all times. So when I drain this thing, like I drained it now, it's not normally sitting up on top of a pedestal here. When I drain this thing, I don't care where the water goes. I don't have to divert the water anywhere. But if you go to the link, it's the 1/4 horsepower chiller. It says Ice Barrel attachments included. There will be a little ball valve that you can attach right here to the bottom of either of your ice barrels, if that's the route you decide to go. And that will allow you to shut off the water so you can disconnect this whole thing, attach a hose, run that hose wherever you need to, and then open it back up and that will drain for you. I've seen people play around with using like the diverter spigots. The problem is they angle down. And when you angle down, it's hard to get your filter and your pump attached without having some sort of damage. And I know a lot of people have damaged their ice barrels by trying to attempt some different variations of the DIY. If you follow my DIY to a T, there's a really good chance you won't have any issues. I have not had any issues. Anyone who's followed this to a T has not had any issues. But if you do need to drain your DIY anywhere else, you're probably gonna want to add that if you're using the ice barrel. If not, all you have to do is take the top tube, and we'll get to that, the top tube, and just divert it somewhere else. Divert it wherever you need to divert it, and let the pump just pump the water out of your trough, your tub, or whatever it is that you have water in. So you don't always have to drill holes at the bottom of your cold plunges to get the water out. Just use your pump. You already have it. Speaking of pump, this is the only pump that I really recommend. And I've used a few other pumps. This has been my baby. Now there are a few things that have came to my attention that other people have ran into that I've been fortunate enough not to. This is plastic. This stuff is all plastic. So it's not metal. It's not super stable, but this is the Active Aqua 1,000 gallon per hour inline or submersible pump. I used this pump when I did my first DIY in the Ice Barrel 400, where I had the pump in the water with me. I had no issues. A lot of people hated that. They're like, you have power cords in the water with you. I never had an issue with it. At the end, I started unplugging it, putting it to a GFCI. I'm not here to tell you exactly how to do all your cold plunging. I'm just showing you the stuff that I've used that actually works. So back to it. This is the Active Aqua 1,000 gallon per hour. There's a lot of options, and sometimes Amazon will change links. So I want to verbally say the 1,000 gallon per hour Active Aqua pump is the only pump that I've used and recommend using. And the reason is the fittings it comes with are 3/4 inch. If you go with anything less, the 800 gallon per hour, anything less, the fittings are smaller, and you will not be able to find those fittings as easily to attach to your ice barrel if that's the route you go. If you don't care about having a bunch of different random sizes, tubes and stuff, you do whatever works best for you. But this is the one that I recommend, this is the one that I use, and this is the one that should be in all of my kits. Now currently, the tubing that I have attached to it and all the fittings are 1 inch, but I want to recommend just sticking with the 3/4 inch tubes, the 3/4 inch clamps, the 3/4 inch strainer, the 3/4 inch fittings, because that is what Ice Barrel's coming with if you decide to go with Ice Barrel, which I recommend. But if you go with the 1 horsepower chiller, and this is a big but, if you decide to go with a 1 horsepower chiller, which I'm gonna say only reason you need this is if you're not using an insulated ice barrel. So it doesn't matter what size fittings you'll have. But if you're going with an insulated ice barrel and you're using the fittings and you're using my kits, just stick with all 3/4 inch because the stuff works great and it's already what's fitted here on the ice barrel. Now this pump can be used inline, meaning I just have it attached right here to the side. It can also be used submersible. There's a different attachment. It has like a graded thing that goes on the front here. It's almost like a pre-filter, which is great. So it keeps debris from going into your pump. That is key. You want to try to keep debris out of your pump. So if you're going to take my DIY and change anything about it, do not change having a strainer filter in front of your pump. Because if you don't and you have your filter on the backside of your pump is sucking in potentially debris, grass, hair, and it's gonna get wrapped up in that fan and potentially break it. I've seen it happen, so just please be careful. But if you go with the 1,000 gallon per hour pump just like this, you can use 3/4 inch fittings, you can use 1 inch fittings, and it becomes very, very easy for you to continue on following along my DIYs. And if you need any additional help, like super duper detailed stuff, I'm gonna have one of my best videos where I go in super detail explaining every step to building a DIY cold plunge out of an Ice Barrel 400. There's a lot of steps, but they're super detailed and a lot of people have followed that video. Now, one cool thing is the pump seems like it might be an expensive component, but it's not. I believe this pump right now on Amazon is $75. These prices fluctuate as Amazon changes their pricing. And also, this isn't exactly what your pump's gonna look like out of the box. This tube is not gonna exist out of the box. I just removed this from the Ice Barrel so that I could demo exactly what these components are and exactly what they do. But this is exactly how it's gonna go. You're gonna take your pump, it's literally just gonna slide right onto the front here, and you're gonna turn it very carefully to the right, and it does float off the ground. You can put a brick underneath it, it fits perfectly. I've got 4 crazy kids and a dog and a cat that run around my backyards all the time. I haven't had any scares with it. It's not like there's a lot of walkway going on here. Once again, do whatever you feel is best for you. But this thing has been working great, and this is basically the tube, which is a 1-inch tube. If you're doing anything less than the 1 horsepower, you're gonna wanna use 3/4 inch tube. But this is the tube. You're gonna want some clamps. Also, the clamps, it's very important for you to kind of fiddle with them and figure out exactly where you need to have them so there's no leaking. Because if you have them a little bit too high, they might leak. If you have them a little bit too low, they might leak. It's finicky, but there is a place, I promise you, where this should not leak. My system hasn't leaked from any of these components, so if you have any issues, there's a good chance that maybe your clamp's on too tight, too loose, up too high, down too low, super finicky. I understand. They should not be leaking. And then you take the tip, connect it, kind of the same thing, and you'll connect it to your chiller. Another really cool thing to know is you don't have to have your chiller right next to your plunge. You can run as long of tubes as you absolutely want. I know people who have their chiller inside their garage and have 20 foot of tubing going out to their plunge that they have outside off their deck. You can do whatever works best for you. Get as long a tube as you absolutely want. I like to keep things close. I don't have a lot of space and my stuff's outside, so that's how I have this thing operating. And then just for fun, the last thing, if you're gonna be using an Ice Barrel, is the fittings that I have in my kit are what you're gonna want, and you'll literally just screw them right into your Ice Barrel. This isn't gonna reach, but then you would theoretically have this go to the out of your Active Aqua chiller, and that's where the water is gonna get pushed back in. So the whole setup is basically this. You fill up your tub with water, you attach your pre-filter so that debris doesn't go through your pump. Then you have a pump sucking the water out of your tub, whether it's a submersible or an inline like such. That is gonna suck the water up, push the water into your chiller. Your chiller is going to chill the water to your desired temperature. Once it's done and set, it's gonna kick off that power, which is great, but the pump is gonna continue cycling water through your filter, keeping water moving, keeping your water clean, and then the water is going to come out the top, through this tube and back into your either Ice Barrel or your tub. And that's really the components you're gonna need. My goal here is to make a video that's educational, but also kind of motivational, that you don't have to go spend a ton of money to get cold. Now you can, depending on your expertise. If you have no idea how to do anything DIY, I have a feeling that if you follow along with one of my tutorials, I can walk you through how to do it if you use the exact components that I recommend and the exact components that I have linked in my description of this video. It's not hard at all. And if you do have any questions that you need help with, reach out to me on Instagram @dmossjr, and I would love to walk you through how to set up the perfect DIY cold plunge for yourself. And to recap, there's a lot of chiller options on the market. There's a lot of chiller companies and non-chiller companies that are pushing chiller options out there on the market for little to no money. The problem is some of these may not even be safe for us to be laying in. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes involved in refrigerant, and if you're getting cold because you want to feel better, the last thing you want to do is get cold with some refrigerant that's not meant for humans. And then, I don't know, like there's so much that could go wrong. Just be careful. I'm not affiliated with Active Aqua at all. I wish I was, because I'm an advocate for them. I think they build a great product that's been working really, really great for me and tons of other people. But I've seen and I've used and I've heard horror stories from so many of the other companies that you could probably easily find on Amazon for cheap. And I just want to make sure you don't either, one, waste your money, or two, get something that's a problem and is going to just waste time, effort, energy, and just cause massive frustration. I'm speaking out of experience. I've helped a lot of people through this process, and I want to help you as well. So if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Reach out to me on Instagram. Make sure you like and subscribe, and check out my channel. There's a lot of videos where I talk about DIY cold plunging and some of the things that have worked for me and a lot of other people. I like to keep it simple, if you can tell. I don't like to get too techie or too crazy or throw too much into this mix that doesn't really necessarily need to be a part of it. But hey, you can do anything you want to do. Check out this video if you haven't yet. This is the video where I show you exactly step by step how I build my DIY cold plunge on my Ice Barrel 400. I do this one with my brother. It's an awesome tutorial. I show you in depth every single step of the way. Check it out if you haven't checked it out, and I'll have that one right here. But other than that, I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you on the next video. God bless.